Welcome to In the News with Double O Des. I'm Des Bernardo, giving you my perspective on news from South Africa and the rest of the world. Today I have something that would really be disturbing to most South African citizens. I did an article before with the headline UK SARS-CoV-2 statistics misleading. And that video has had quite a bit of attention, and I'll link it at the end of this video. So if you watch to the end, you will see a link there where you can subscribe, or you can just click on this video to see what I discussed there. In that video, I specified that in the UK, they don't actually specify that someone has died from COVID-19. What they say is that someone that has tested positive for the SARS-CoV-2 virus, when they die, they are logging it as a COVID-19 related death, which is just blatantly false. You cannot say that someone that has tested positive for the virus, when they die from a heart attack or when they're hit by a bus, that they have died from COVID-19. Now, I've been looking for proof of this happening in South Africa, and I finally found that proof. And this proof I found in an ENCA article, and the headline is Infant Among Latest COVID-19 Deaths in South Africa. Now, once again, to make it clear, COVID-19 is the disease that develops because of infection with the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So you can be infected by the virus and never develop the disease, and that happens in most people. A lot of people just have mild symptoms. The COVID-19 disease can affect you in bad ways, and it can end up killing you. But it is not the disease necessarily that kills you, but a lot of the side effects in most cases. In this case, there is a baby that has been born that was listed as a COVID-19 death. And I will read the article for you. South Africa has recorded the first death of an infant due to COVID-19. According to the health department, the 2-day-old baby was born prematurely. So this is a premature baby, and therefore had lung difficulties, which required ventilation support immediately after birth. Now, all of those interventions has nothing to do with the SARS-CoV-2 virus or the COVID-19 disease that takes time to develop. Health Minister Willem Mkhize says the mother had tested positive for COVID-19, and the child subsequently tested positive for COVID-19 as well. Well, to say someone is testing positive for COVID-19, as I've mentioned before, is actually impossible. This is very bad technical accurateness being used by the minister and by the medical fraternity and by journalists, because you cannot test positive for COVID-19. You develop COVID-19. There is no test for COVID-19. It doesn't exist. The test tests for the SARS-CoV-2 virus. It is important to appreciate the complexities of the underlying condition of prematurity, Mkhize said. Well, obviously, we extend a special word of comfort to the mother of this child and salute the neonatalists, nurses, and all allied and technical personnel who had the difficult task of caring for the neonate to the end. Now, this is really disturbing, because this is the first evidence of someone that has tested positive for the SARS-CoV-2 virus being listed as a COVID-19 death, when this baby was born prematurely and they took the necessary steps as they normally would with a premature baby, of whom many of them don't survive, without any virus or disease being present. The child was among 27 people who died in the last 24 hours, bringing the national death toll to 339. As of Wednesday night, the total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in South Africa is 18,003. 8,950 people have recovered from the virus. Now, that is more accurate. When they say recovered from the virus, what they actually should say is there's no more traces of the virus. In other words, they don't test positive for the virus anymore. But there is no test for the disease. Like I said, a disease develops. Mkhize said a healthcare worker in the Western Cape had succumbed to COVID-19, and then carries on with further statistics. Now, for the first time, we have evidence that a person that tests positive for COVID-19 and dies from whatever is listed as a COVID-19 death. Now, if they state this from the beginning, then that is fine. But I want the public to understand that it does not mean that the infection with the SARS-CoV-2 virus had actually led to the person developing a disease related to the SARS-CoV-2 virus. These people could have died from many other ailments that they already had. And we know that the medical fraternity have been telling us that there's comorbidities that have caused the deaths in most of these people. So to actually call it a COVID-19 death is extremely suspect. And this means that they must have received information to call the deaths this way from someone. Because no one in his right mind will rate someone being hit by a car as a COVID-19 death because that person was tested SARS-CoV-2 positive. So the World Health Organization has been giving our government recommendations, as well as the rest of the world. As I've said before, in the UK, I can prove that they actually say that their deaths that have happened of people that have died, that have tested positive for the SARS-CoV-2 virus are all listed on the world database and on the national database as COVID-19 deaths. And that is a lie, people. We cannot have lies bring fear to us and cause the government to force us to take actions that might be inappropriate. Now, once again, I don't say that this virus isn't real. This is a real virus. It causes people to die. There's a real disease that develops from it. But you cannot, until you've done an autopsy and proven that the person has actually died from a disease, COVID-19, that develops because of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, until you've confirmed that, you cannot claim that to be a COVID-19 death. So what they're doing is extremely conservative. And it's fine if you do that, if you speak the truth from the beginning. In other words, tell the public that all of these COVID-19 deaths are just people that have died, that have tested positive for the SARS-CoV-2 virus, because then you're speaking the truth.